What is up, party people? Now it's time for the review. Me and Greg, we had to watch it a day late, but we did watch it. We did react to it as the thing was going on. A lot of interesting stuff, and I do agree with Greg. Like, as we're reacting to it, we did make comments here and there, but it was probably like sparingly because there's a lot of interesting things going on. I think these episodes, the last few episodes that we had leading into even this episode, but especially this episode as well, didn't have as many of like the writing flaws and stuff like that that I thought we had in a couple of episodes towards the beginning. I think they cleaned that up. Different people were involved in these last episodes. But one thing, we'll just jump into it. So Criston Cole was a butthole. Nobody liked Criston Cole. Like whenever he came in and started doing his shit that he was doing in the first couple of seasons. He didn't have a big part in this season. He played his role in the last few episodes. We got to see him more and more often. And my man, he got shot with some arrows, bro. What did you actually think about that for real? Big moment. Criston Cole gets shot with some arrows. That's a really cool scene, by the way. Before you give your answers, like they're coming up to a field. It looks like a battle's already been fought there and people are dead. Turns out, ain't none of them dead. They just faking dead. They get up like a horde of zombies and start attacking their ass. Criston Cole and his men actually do kind of survive here. They're doing the thing and then realize they are completely 100% surrounded. And
you say aroused, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, oh shit. Well, the rigor mortis set in. Rigor mortis set in. So like you had the man from the north and you had the kid from like the Riverlands or whatever standing next to each other talking to Criston Cole. And they talking to him about a couple of things. He pulls out his little rag, you know what I'm saying, with Alicent stuff on there. And then, he proceeds to get his ass shot to death with some arrows. It wasn't a valiant effort. It wasn't some horrible death that some people would have cheered for. But, So what do you actually think about, like, what happened there in that particular instance?
Yeah, I thought it was great, man. I thought then it started off, like you said, like the surprise attack by the Hightowers and the Tully kid. The Tully kid, yeah, he set it up. And then you saw Criston Cole get a little bit of action. And you're like, okay, maybe he's gonna go out like a G. Maybe he's gonna have these songs written about him. Maybe Alicent's gonna hear about how he was talking all his mess about being the best fighter in all the realm. And so maybe he goes out like that because we saw a big, him handling his shit, but. Man, just a little Game of Thrones thing. Just some subversion of the expectations. You got he went out and just got shot like a normal like.
I think, like I knew what was gonna happen. He gets shot with arrows. It's a little bit different than what happened here, but not too much different. He gets shot with arrows and shit and killed in the original story in the actual source material. So I always knew when everybody was hating on his ass, like, man, I can't stand Criston Cole. I hope he gets his ass handed to him. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was like, damn, there's going to be a lot of upset people because people want him to die in a very serious, like gruesome manner, probably just to feel like that he got his comeuppance or whatever. But I always knew that if they do it like they did in the source material, he's just getting shot with arrows. That's what happened tonight. He got shot with arrows. It by itself, maybe not as satisfying, but when you think about it, he dies the same way pretty much Jace does.
Yeah.
Jace is doing his little fighting and everything, just like Criston Cole was doing tonight. There's this little bit of a moment where, like, he's in danger and stuff like that. You think that maybe he might get away somehow or whatever, but he comes up out of the water and immediately just gets shot. There's no, like, big time, like, honor, kind of death or anything like that. He just comes up out of the water and gets sniped. And then in this one, you think Criston Cole is going to get this honorific death where he's like, you know what, he's going to die, but at least he's going to die swinging kind of situation. And out of nowhere, he just gets shot 2 times in the chest and then 1 time in the face. He got shot in the face. Yeah. He did. He got shot in the damn face.
I prefer like the eyeball. I would have preferred an eyeball shot. It was just in the cheek. Which is fine.
I mean, a lot of people didn't like this guy, so I mean, a lot of people out there might have been rooting for him to get shot in the dick. To be honest with you,
yeah, but I think a lot. I think it's one of those things where you wanted that, but then when you really think about it, you're like, I prefer him going out. Like if he would have gone and fought 1-on-1 with one of those dudes and killed him, and then he gets what he wants. He has his heroic death and stuff like that, and he goes out on his terms, right? Just getting shot with arrows is pretty like, all right, you were nothing. We didn't give a shit about you. We didn't care about anything. You're dead now.
Yeah, we see Rhaenyra. She's in there with her council talking about some different things. They're arguing back and forth about what they should be doing and stuff to get control of the city. I'm gonna be honest with you, Daemon's been pretty much right this whole time. They should have paid the Gold Cloaks instead of using the money for other things, and then tried to figure it out from there. That's the route they probably should have did. She probably should have listened to Daemon and whatnot, and she kind of didn't. She's kind of torn between like him and listening to the White Worm or whatever, and they're going back and forth. And we just see what's going out, what's playing out. Like as a whole, like through the entire episode, whatever, not just this one point, but I'm talking about Rhaenyra as a whole. What do you think about her shortly reign rule right now? You know what I'm saying? She's not been in power for very long. She's trying to do the thing. She even talked to the people again this time, and she gets cut on the throne. This is what I never understood about that stupid point they threw in that one episode of like, why we got to talk about that when literally she's going to get cut on the throne anyway. So she's going to like bleed. Why do they have to throw that one part in where she was like having her menstrual time or whatever?
Won't let it go.
Yeah, I ain't letting it go, bro. It was stupid. It just come out of nowhere. Why are we even talking about that crap? And it's like they throw that in there, and like I said, maybe that was going to be the thing that I thought was going to, because part of the source material was like she's be sitting on the throne talking to the people, and she's getting cut by the throne because it's it's short, it's got sharp edges, it's swords and stuff like that. And it's like, so I thought, well, that's what they're going to say is like what's happening. She gets bled on the throne. She's not getting cut. But in this episode, she gets cut. But she's talking to these people. She's losing it. And I just think a couple of the decisions I wouldn't probably argue with her on, but most of them are leading down the path of like them not having control much longer.
Yeah. I mean, she's a lot. I think there's a little bit of a theme for it with a couple characters. It's like they wanted something so badly, and then when they got it, it's like not what they expected at all. And I think we're seeing that with Rhaenyra. It's like she expected like this, like the prophecy, light to come down, everybody to just accept her rule, bow before her, and it was going to be a wonderful time and everything. And it turns out, look, this is not what it is to be in power. She's dealing with all kinds of problems. All kinds of people are against her, not accepting her rule. There's no easy going. She's dealing with all these problems, and she has the White Worm in her ear. She has Daemon. She trusts probably White Worm a little bit more, but she has that relationship with Daemon. Now Aaron, and that scene, Aaron actually stepped up and said, we need more patience, and kind of went with the White Worm in that situation. So yeah, man, she's dealing with a lot of problems, a lot of things going on, trying to balance. With this common theme is balancing her father, inside of her. She's really listening to what her father would do, or what So that's her main focus on what she's basing on being in power off of. And then she gets plucked by the throne, and now she's like freaking out. She thinks that her father, and she's like, dude, this is gonna happen. This is, now she's a little freaked out about all the situation. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot that she's going through right now, and she's not necessarily handling it the best way. So
it's like in a more peaceful time without a bunch of chaos and crap going on. She could possibly even be like a good ruler, probably even do stuff with the thing. But I think like even that was the one thing about her father. Really great character, really great like story was told. Was a pretty good guy, a pretty good king, but he was weak in some aspects, and that's what ends up causing this rift. It was partly his fault, and that ends up throwing everything into chaos because he was weak on some things. And like, here goes the deal, bro. You take over, you smash shit. Then you have all the time in the world to apologize to the people and make it up for them. Mm-hmm. It's too much. Like, she's too much worried about what everybody else thinks and how they may look at things. Think about it with Corliss. She was just worried about what other people was going to think about it. Like, the right thing is to just legitimize his kids You know that's the right thing. All the stuff he's already sacrificed for you. You know that's the right thing to do. The only reason why you ain't doing it is because you're afraid of what people's going to talk about or like look at. The way she handled the situation whenever some people, wrote the things on the side of a couple of the walls, like, uh, you know, uh, the Queen of Bastards or whatever. Nah, dog. You can't do that with emotion in those situations. You got to play coy. You got to be smart. You got to do this. And then she's even fallen into Hightower's trap over here, Ormond, because like he says, he might not like it, but it's like, I'm over here with her people. She's trying to be looked at as good. I'm not afraid of this. That's why I'm just chilling, eating all this food and fancy feast and everything else he's doing and handling, because there's no fear. Like, he has no legitimate fear. He doesn't care because, like, not only because she's not going to do it because they're supposed to be her loyal subjects and how it's going to look, which is another downfall piece of situation, but like, he's like, bro, like, well, he says it like in a bad way or like whatever, because he's like, she's a woman or whatever, but it's like, there goes your stuff. Bro, take the shit out. You should have sent the hammer. You should have sent the hammer in there. Big ass dragon. This guy like thinks of him as being like, he thinks of himself as being like better than what he probably truly is and whatnot. You know how his ego is. He's gonna be in the biggest freaking house in that town, in the most lavish place. Burn that shit to the ground, bro. Like, you just fly over everybody else. You don't have to harm every citizen in the city, but you just burn that house to the ground. He's in it. That's what I would did. I'd have been like, Big Daddy Hammer, you want to get your woman back? She's in the town. I just need you to fly over and set fire to that big ass house that Ormond's in. Because once he dies, it's over with. All his men's going to scatter. They're not going to know what to do at that point. He's the big dog or whatever. You probably even take out the other heir to the throne. The one that Ormond's actually trying to set up is to be heir to the throne. But yeah, I mean, all that stuff I just talked about right there with the queen. I mean, if you have anything to rebuttal on that, or moving on to the next.
To be fair, this was your plan, though. We've heard in other episodes, you're like, well, cater to the people, pretend like you're good, do the good things. Don't be, don't go all over. Don't, That's kind of what you wanted.
In your immediate vicinity. That's why I'm saying what she did whenever the words got painted on the building. What she did wasn't good for the people. That didn't look good. That's what I'm saying. She fell apart. Yeah, you got to look good for the everyday people that's around you, but you got to do that in a more intelligent way. And because you're not paying attention to that, even this episode, Daemon goes and does something that's kind of good. He catches one of those guys because he basically sets up a trap for one of the people that's been killing the Gold Cloaks, or that killed the Gold Cloaks in the last episode. He sets up a trap to find there's a decent amount of people that's following this kind of crowd and this guy and everything else. He kills him. And then he goes off and he gets bumped into by Oath, and then it's a scene, and that other people seen, and it's still not helpful. Like,
yeah, they lost.
Yeah, you have to be.
It seemed like they lost the people, and like that.
You have to be good to the people in the city, but the people in King's Landing don't give two shits if you were to go burn down that house or whatever. Like I'm talking about, that takes Ormond out, and maybe a couple of innocents or people gets killed in the process. They're not going to care as much. Yeah, as long as they get what they need to get. And if you would have spent money on the Gold Cloaks, there would have been more security. They would have been more happy, which means maybe they don't do a bunch of bad shit to the people. Which then, because the people feel secure, they're a little more happy than what they were. Maybe they're still a little hungry, right? Maybe they need some nourishment or something like that, but your first and foremost piece of thing, they even tell you this if you go out in the real world and you're part of the army or something and you get stranded. One of your first things to do is get secure. Get you like a place. Find you a base. Get you some shelter. That's your first thing. Then you find like, where's this? Where's that? Where's my food supply going to be at? Where am I going to get this at? You know what I'm saying? Like, one of your first things is to get yourself a base, a home base, a shelter, so that you get what? A little bit of security. You've got security. Now you can do all your other needs.
Yeah, but this is also the credit of Ormond and his plan about destabilizing things, taking the money out,
Yep.
and now you're trying to choke her out and get her people against her. You're trying to get the houses to turn. That's the whole thing with the Ormond and his patient plan about being the patient hunter.
But that's why you take his ass out, man, in a ball of fire. That's what I'm saying.
And he
Like,
already took the gold. I mean, you would have just had G Wayne. Was it Wayne? I forgot what his name is.
talking
Gwayne.
about plans, what did you think about the plan that they used? So we had the Baratheons come in this episode as well. Got to see some of them. And then what did you think about the plan of that she had by sending them out there to act like they were gonna plead fealty and shit like that and like do an assassination?
Yeah, shout out to Alice's brother. I think his name's Dwayne or Gwayne or Wayne. The Hightower. He snuffed it out right quickly. So good recognition by second in command. Earned the respect of Ormond, who threw up like a pansy he is.
Yeah, you don't like shit smell.
Yeah, even Daeron kind of had this look. Kind of had the gall for it. But yeah, man, it was an interesting plan. It probably gets away with it but it didn't work out. So you got kind of counsel it as a bad plan if it didn't work out. So
I knew that we kind of foreshadowed the fact that like smells like are really mess him up. And it's kind of a bummer because I thought that was going to be his downfall, like his true downfall.
mm-hmm.
And maybe they still use that, which I think they shouldn't have used this time. But you literally had these fake Baratheons. They're probably real Baratheons, but not the right Baratheons that should have been there.
Yeah,
go in there with like shit on their shoes and stuff like that. Like literally, like look like they just went and stepped in some cow shit and everything.
yeah.
That did bother him, but then it didn't work. They all got killed and everything else, and Ormond and stuff still going. But so it's like, man, it kind of sucks. They kind of used that whole thing they foreshadowed earlier a couple of episodes ago. That it got used here. And I was hoping that was going to be his downfall. Like I said, they were going to do something like crazy where it was some kind of really super bad smell that just took him out.
I mean,
you still possibly use that.
Yeah, you got a chance. You got a chance though.
Now it's not going to be as surprising when it happens. Like tonight, when it showed the dude's shoes and it was like obviously it looked like he'd been stepping in cow shit. I was like, oh shit. Oh damn. I actually thought he's going to be possibly taken out because I didn't know it from the beginning. I was like you. I'm thinking the Baratheons are going to do both sides of the deal.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw that moment where they showed the shoes like that, and then they were like, "If you can show us the true king, so we can bend the knee."
Yeah.
And as soon as they asked that question, I was like, "Yo, man, can you show us the true king so that we can like really bend the knee and pledge fealty?" I was like, "Oh shit, no, they're there to kill him. They're there to kill him."
Yeah, it got a little confusing too. Like as soon as they had that scene, I mean, they didn't have the original scene, but that is before that, they also showed the hammer or I call him Thor, and so I was like confused. Like, is he gonna come in and be the assassin, or is it these Baratheons are playing both sides? And then, like you said, it started to, it was one of those moments where we're like, oh, okay, now we know what's going on. Okay.
What did you think about that moment for the Hammer and his wife? Like, what did you think about that interaction? Because he sneaks in, gets in there, finds her. He's basically like, "Hey, come with me. Like, we can get out of here. We can live together. We're gonna get us a cool house because Rhaenyra's promising this and that and everything else." It's like, what did you think about that interaction they had?
Yeah, it went from a touchy moment in her mind from your husband's alive. You're so thankful, you're so happy he's alive and he found you, and you're overjoyed and stuff like that. And then they hear that his tales of becoming a dragon rider and all these things, and she automatically flips, right? And she's like, "Well, you selfish SOB, I went through all this trial and tribulations on the road," and she alludes to maybe some bad things happening to her.
But that's her fault. She left.
Yeah.
Now her excuse for doing that is because he wasn't there. She chose to walk the road.
Yeah.
Like, that's your fault. Anything that happened on that road was her fault. He didn't tell her to go walk the road to Tumbleton, where the bad things that could possibly happen to her.
It reminded me like a superhero when you get mad when you have those shows like superheroes and they reveal themselves for being a
Yeah.
superhero, and then they get all mad, like, you just find it out of character. And it was like at the time you're like, man, could she just like, get on board with, he became a
So
dragon rider, he came back for her, and just get it going, and just be happy all together and move on. Because
earlier
right
in the
then,
show, it's like we'll do anything for each other kind of love. It seemed like it looked like they had a true
yeah,
relationship and shit like that. And home dude comes to get you, and then you just gonna start like blaming him for everything because like he ended up. It wasn't he got like they went and found these people.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, are they were wanting these people to do this certain thing, and he's like, I got a chance to do whatever. It'd be like, if somebody came up to me and was like, oh, you can have like a better job to make money for your family and stuff like that. It's
hmm,
like, nah, I might take that opportunity. I might take that chance. It's gonna be better for it. That's not being selfish. Most of the time you're doing it because if I didn't have to have money and shit like that, I'd be like sitting around playing video games all the time, not giving a shit about nothing.
yeah. To be fair though,
Like the
like
fact that I have my kid and I raised my kid on my own. A lot of those times, if I didn't have a kid to raise, I would have been like, "Fuck, I don't care where the hell I'm working, as long as I can live, get me something to eat, and just
Mhm.
have like the bare minimum stuff." I'd have been perfectly fine. I wouldn't even have cared. But the reason why I worked harder and went to work when I didn't want to sometimes and all that kind of bullshit is because of the fact I was doing it for my son.
Yeah,
Just like he was doing it for the wife, just like, me and Brandy, being married, the same thing. Like, that ain't selfish, brother. That's him trying to like help the family out and do his thing.
but
Like, sorry.
to be fair, like in her mind, she's like, you left me unguarded. You left me unprotected, and you didn't come right away to, you could have been off in her mind. She's like, you can go off having adventures and riding on your dragon and everything. And I was getting assaulted. I was getting, I was going through all these things on the road. And you're just mad at that person for letting something happen to you. And
Yeah,
you're
but
supposed to be the person that's supposed to
this is my
protect you.
problem. This is the problem with that I got with that, Greg. So like, let's say the story's a little different or whatever. Uh, she's not gonna be sitting over there. She would have been like, oh, I can handle myself and everything. Like if they were talking about something,
Mhm.
she's strong, right? She can handle herself. Like, so she can't be using that like now for that situation because like that's not what it is. It's like he went and done something. I get what you're saying and what you could be coming from. I just thought
Yeah.
that was kind of shitty. Like I went from thinking she was a pretty cool character and that they were a pretty cool couple into like as we watched it, I was just like, bruh, what the hell?
Yeah. I
Your
was just
husband
like,
comes back. He's trying to get you out of this situation, doing the thing. Now he's a dragon rider. He's like a knight now. He's got you, gonna have you set up with a beautiful home, and all you want to do is just blame him for stuff that she decided to do. Like I said, maybe she wouldn't have been safe necessarily inside of King's Landing, but she took the trip that she was complaining about. She chose that. It would have been different if he would have been like sent her some kind of message like, "Hey, uh, go to Tumbleton," and then she followed his, what he said to do, and then like a bunch of bad shit happened to her.
mhm.
Now I get what you're saying. Or maybe if she would have stayed in King's Landing waiting for him the whole time, and before he could get back, something happened to her there. There's a little bit more of a blame there because she was waiting for him.
Hmm.
She didn't wait for him. She thought his ass was dead. She went down there on a Tumbleton on her own accord. Like that's my point. Is like I like not saying that everything is that one person's fault, but it definitely ain't home dude's fault either. Like maybe there's a little bit of a shared blame there, but like I just thought that was kind of like out of character just to try to like to me, Hugh's story makes sense. He became a dragon rider, kind of like what you were talking about earlier. You get what you want, and then you find out it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And I guess they're trying to do that with Hugh too. You
Yeah.
got something you wanted, and
You
then
lost your family. The most important thing to you was your family, and you lost
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, and all that kind of stuff. So like I kind of get it to a certain point, but this the them to me like it would have been better if they got together and then it got caught. He got caught like getting out on the street and then she got like taken out would have been a better lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like some random Hightower or something like that notices or something's up, and he comes up there, and then he tries to defend her, but somehow or another, like she ends up like dying in the chaos that happens with a little bit of a skirmish or a fight. And now he feels bad because like he just wanted to do what he wanted to do to be with her and make her happy and have like a better life and everything else. But then, it turned out he did all that stuff, and then like she ended up dying or something. And this particular character, I would have liked that better than her just turning on him. It don't even make sense. She's like crying, and then all of a sudden, wouldn't even go with him. Like,
yeah. It's one of those parts where you just like I said, like in superheroes where they find out and then all of a sudden they get mad, like oh you were saving the world, but you couldn't have saved me. You weren't protecting me, or you couldn't let me in this. It's just one of those things where you don't feel good about it, but then you have to kind of like rationalize it. Like, man, if like how's she feeling in that moment? Like she feels betrayed, she feels unprotected, she feels like you were more concerned about your glory and more about concerned about you becoming something when you were everything to me. You were my protector, my provider, my love, and you threw that all away. I don't
not necessarily though. But like, and my point, how selfish are you to be like you can't go ever be anything because you got to be here for me every second? Like that's pretty damn selfish. Like you're never getting anywhere from that. What's he supposed to do? Like stay at the house and be like in the room the entire time? Like he can't ever leave. Like, what if he went to work and something bad happened to her? Oh, it's his fault because he left for work. Like, that's my point. Is like, he can't be there all the time. He's trying to do something to better himself and stuff that's going to better both of them. He didn't. Obviously, he loved her. The first chance he gets, he like sneaks into a thing. What do you think Rhaenyra would be like? How pissed off she would be if she found out that he snuck into the damn city to see her?
Yeah.
Like he's sacrificing right there just to even go see her, putting his life in danger because he loves her and because all the stuff he's doing is, not only just for him, but for her as well. And how selfish you see, like, oh, you did this, oh, you're a piece of shit. Like I said, I could be like, get like her crying on her knees a little bit, and then she kind of gets up and kind of like beats on his chest a second, like, oh, bad things happen. Like, man, I thought you were dead. Like, and she kind of frustrated a little bit for a second. But then she's like, then she turned it around and been like, oh, but I love you. Like, oh, like whatever, and everything else. But she didn't do that. She like blames him for all the shit and then like decides to be like, I'm not leaving my family. Like, bro, where's his family?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, we talked a lot on this. Like,
the last thing I'll just say is like the emotions don't always make sense, right? That's why they're emotions. Like they don't. It's not always logical.
True.
Just emotions.
True. Like I said, I felt like the first few seasons, like whenever we did get the little bits of them being together, that I didn't think that this would be that kind of this kind of reaction to me would have been for like a toxic or not like toxic, but it's a bad relationship. I felt they had a really good one and a strong one. And I was not expecting this from those, like that particular character and stuff like that in this story. But with that being said, so we already talked about the assassination and all that stuff. And then we had the things like Rhaenyra getting Alicent to go kill her son. What you think, man?
Good plan. Good plan. I like it. Send Alicent to get close to,
but
Aemond.
This is evil, though. That's evil.
Yeah, it's prove your loyalty, prove your worth, and if things go wrong, then at least I still have Helaena that we find out is a dreamer. They call her. She's able to predict things, and so you keep the heir, her child, under your control. So, and you can eliminate Alicent altogether out of the mix, so you can get closer to Helaena possibly. And get closer. So it worked all the way around for Rhaenyra. I thought it was a good plan. It was diabolical. I can't wait to see how it plays out. But it was just to see everybody, Alicent shaking up, who's always been kind of like, she's been shaking up throughout episodes, but she's always kind of been able to maneuver her way. And now she's like just completely, comatose, like trying to figure out, oh my god, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this?
It's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing here because I'm going to be honest with you. In the story, she just disappears. She's not an important part. She after the beginning part of the war starting between the two sides, she just kind of goes away. So everything they're doing here from this point on is like made up stuff that they did for her character. I can kind of understand why they're doing that because it's a great actress that plays the role. One of the best out of the whole entire thing. If you're talking about for this entire show through like these first 3 seasons and stuff. So like, I understand why they're doing it, but the stuff that they're putting her through is like things that like wouldn't have been. So this is all like everything that happens that she does from here on out. That's why I was thinking there's a chance that they'd be like stuck in those walls, which also kind of a sad part about this episode right here is the simple fact of like, bruh.
Didn't mean anything, right?
No. Well, they didn't even show you how like they got out.
Well, I mean, yeah, they showed the night just like, oh, I found y'all.
Yeah, it's like not even that big of a thing. Like I thought that could have been a little bit of a bigger deal. So that wasn't that big of a deal.
It's more surprising hookup this episode. The witch and Harrenhal and Aemond, or Aaron and Lena?
Yeah, no, you're talking about was it Adam? You're talking about the Valyrian.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about Corliss's like what kid and then grandchild. Because Daemon was the father, but if I'm not mistaken, Corliss's daughter is who Daemon was actually like hooked up with for a little while.
The one she
had a couple kids. So like,
the one that
the Valyrians trying to get in that inbreeding, I guess, because they were like started kissing on each other. We didn't see nothing after that, or whatnot. But yeah, you had that going on. I would say more surprising. It's definitely a more surprise for Corliss's basically like kid and grandkid to be sucking each other's face, because you got to understood the Harrenhal thing with like Aemond over there, like by himself with her, and she saved his life and everything else, and he saved her life and all this kind of stuff. I don't understand what the dragon things are going to be. Like it takes dragons a long time after they're like actually to even become anything. They're not going to be able to become anything anytime soon. Maybe if you was looking in the future and there was like multiple deals, and I guess that's what that symbolized. But as I know the story, this is the downfall of not just, a lot of the Targaryens' power. This is also the downfall of like the dragons. Like there's not many dragons left, if any at all, after this story is told, just because of all the things and that happen throughout the tale. And that's why it's called the Dance of Dragons, because of all the dragons that are involved, and all that stuff put together there. But yeah, definitely I would say it's Aemond, or not Aemond. I mean, the two Valyrian kids here, making their connection. But let's go ahead, man. We've been talking about this for a while, so let's jump into like the last thing, that big deal that happened, and that's Corlys like deciding, you know what? We get the message in a cool little way, written on some like leather or whatever, that was basically like, if you do this and I'll cut your hand or whatever. And this is going to be probably the most contentious thing out there, but we don't know, so we're gonna have to wait. We only saw a rope get put around his neck, like to strangle him or whatever, basically kind of deal. Like somebody came up behind him with some kind of tapestry or rope or something and started choking on him and stuff like that. But we don't actually see anything beyond that. But we know they're there. They ambush Corlys after he had already decided, you know what, it's time for me to go be there now again. And not be away.
Catch my grandson and or my bastard kid hooking up.
That kind of stuff happening and whatnot. But this didn't happen in this didn't happen in the actual story and the source material. This might, but I can't say. Like usually, Game of Thrones, they're going to show you somebody dying if there's a true death.
Okay.
So I do have my doubts that this is a true death. I think he's going to be involved in the next episode. I think somehow or another he escapes from this shit and gets out of there. But yeah, what did you think about this? Do you think he's dead? For one, do you think he's dead?
Now that you make that point, he's probably alive because they would have shown it if he didn't. If he would have died, maybe he dies like in the next episode. Because they did show, Otto Hightower. They showed him for a little bit, and then they showed the death. So maybe he does die, but yeah, he's probably still alive, at least for this episode. Kind of like when he was shipwrecked a little bit too. But yeah, man, if you miss an assassination attempt like Rhaenyra missed, you expect Ormund to retaliate, and this was what happened. You can't miss, and so they went after Corlys, and Corlys is in trouble now.
Like I said, all this is because of the fact that she's too worried about like what other people just think. You are the fucking queen. You're the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Do your shit. Listen, Tumbleton. If I didn't think I could do it any other way, my first idea would have been like it was brought up in this episode to go out there and burn the big house, try to take out the dude with as less casualties as possible, right? So basically, you're like, all right, cool. There's going to be some casualties, but I'm going to try to limit that. I'm going to take out the place I know he's like basically bedding in and sleeping in and eating and all this stuff. I'm taking that shit out, and we'll go from there. But if I didn't think I could like just try to take that one house or whatever out, I don't give a shit, bro. That whole city might just be burnt. I'll blame it on Rhaegar and damn Aemond, right? Like. It is what it is. Like it's not like we're not in the information age like we are now. Like in 2026, like, they don't have cell phones, my man. So who knows what happened, right? Yeah. So like the King's Landing people don't know. They don't know nothing. It's like, bro, shit. We tried to stop him, but the big dragon came by and burnt the whole damn thing down, bro. What a bunch of assholes.
Oops.
Yeah. What a traitor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can play it off like that if you needed to, but you got to have the guts to be able to do it. And even if people were mad at you, you do the things you know you need to get done to set up your power, to set up your strength and get ready for everything and doing all that. Then you go back and spend the rest of your time being queen or king, whatever it is. You spend the rest of your time over there chilling and making things right.
Mm-hmm.
The people's going to come to you. If you're a good queen and you're out there, maybe some bad shit happened that wasn't your fault, right? You get to write the history after this. Like, it doesn't matter. You get to write the history if after you do maybe a couple of shady bad things at the beginning that you got to do, but you get to write the history afterwards, right? Because you're going to sit back and go, I had to do all this for the people because my crown was taken from me. Everybody knew my dad had, made me the heir apparent, and like that's how it was. And because these traitors, because these upsurfers and everything else, like I had to do some bad shit to like put the kingdom back in the pieces that needed to be brought into, and all that kind of good stuff. So like, and then like everybody's fat and happy. Like after you've had a couple of years to get everything situated and all this stuff, you do some good things. Olive branches to the people, they're going to be happy, bro. They're going to worship you after that. As long as you're good to them. So like, that's how I would be looking at to it. Like I said, she's so worried about every little person. She's that kind of person, like everything's good. And then like one person kind of giggles and she looks over there and they look like they're looking at her. Her ego makes it to where she assumes they're making fun of her for some reason or giggling at her. So that's the kind of situation I think it is. And that's going to be the ultimate downfall, I think. Any last things to say about the episode, Greg?
Sheep Stealer and Rhaenyra.
Oh, yeah. She should have just been thrown out the moon door. I forgot about her character. Her character's kind of pissing me off because it is a pretty decent change. There's supposed to be another character that's kind of like in her role called like Nettles. That could have been a cool character to introduce and have some fun with. Actually, Daemon and Nettles, like so-called, may have been getting it on during parts of this story. So that could have been like a cool thing to have going on, like, behind the scenes of him like being loyal to the queen and all this stuff. But like, nah, man, I don't give two craps about her story. Like, she got Jace killed, and like she's kind of getting away with it a little bit, and then she's over here crying like she's the victim. Oh, I'm gonna stay in my. I'm probably got a dragon, and then I'm gonna stay in my little hut over here because you stupid, because you dumb. I'd have kicked her ass right out the moon door. The only reason why homegirl didn't do it, I think her name's like Jane. The only reason why she didn't kick her out the damn moon door to her untimely death is because of the fact that she thinks it's cool. She's got a dragon in her realm to try to help protect the area, which I kind of understand a little bit, but still, man, like, screw that. I mean, what do you think about that character?
Yeah, I'm pretty much out. There's no real.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
I hope she has some redeeming value at some point.
Nah, I don't even hope. I hope they don't write nothing or even try to write nothing that kind of redeems her character at all. I just hope she dies in a. I don't even want her to get killed by dragonfire. She don't even deserve that. I hope a dragon just steps on her. But I hope that's how she goes, like T-Rex style. You're just chilling and you get stepped on. But with all that being said, what is your grade so far for the season? Because there's a lot of things I did like in this episode. We didn't really complain about stuff. We talked about like how the characters are doing things, but I don't think that makes a bad show. I think that makes an interesting show where you can talk about the certain decisions and stuff like that the characters are doing. But I do think it was written better. I didn't see anything like too super dumb. There was a couple of things that we've discussed, but I think the character that we just talked about is the worst thing about this episode, especially, and I think starting to probably be for the whole season. But yeah, where are you at grade-wise? If I'm not mistaken, me and you both were at like B minuses. I think I was closer to the C than you were.
Yeah.
But where are you at now after these last couple episodes?
I think I'm at a solid B. I think I'm at a B, maybe hindering towards B plus, somewhere in the middle between B and B plus. But a solid B. I think this episode bumped it up. This is one of my favorite episodes, if not my favorite episode, other than the first two. It was supposed to be part of the last season. So I definitely bumps it up to a solid B, maybe heading towards B plus if it
had some action, had the plot actually going. I think the last two episodes before this were okay, nothing particularly wrong, but they were obviously like the setup to get a couple of character arcs in there and stuff like that. But not a lot of things going on in the last couple of episodes, and I thought the plot was moving to a crawl. I do think the plot and what we're getting to, obviously it has to because we only got a couple of more episodes. But I thought like the way everything kind of moved and paced in this one was a little more urgent, a little more, let's get focused on what we got to do and everything else. There was the cool like assassination attempt, cruelest, the thing like we're wondering about, like, is he alive? Is his ass dead? We don't know. And the action that we got at the very beginning of this episode kind of bookended. I thought it was like pretty good episode. One of the better ones, like you said, if not the best one. So it did raise it. Yeah. Now I'm still at the B minus, but it raised it. Like I was literally one episode, like let's pretend like this episode didn't have some of the good stuff in it, and it was like episode 5, and then we got Homegirl's character, that we just talked about at the moon door. I probably would have went to the C. C plus or something like that, because that's how close I was getting to the C grade. But this did level it up to where I'm almost at a flat B, right? Okay. I'm closer to the flat B than I am to the C, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
So it did raise up just a little bit. And that last two episodes obviously can be pretty balls to the wall. We got a lot of shit that's got to go down, and it can be really cool and really satisfying. I think they got the chance to do it because I do think the writing for this, it's not very often that you see like a show where the writing is like super bad or gets bad to a point and then can recover. I do think the show's done that. There were a couple episodes where I thought the writing was kind of piss poor in a certain way. Characters were doing things that were super dumb and stuff like that. Yeah. But I do think after that, the last couple and this episode, the writing got tighter, a little better. People aren't doing as like the thing that Daemon did tonight when he set up the trap, I don't think was dumb. It was by chance that he bumped into home dude and it caused him to like react in a way that might look bad to the people. But setting up the trap for the thing, I don't think it was bad. I think it was just bad luck. So I don't blame the writing for his character for that. That was obviously good writing for him to do something good, and then by chance something bad happens and occurs for it. So we got that. All right. But there we go, guys. Unless you got any I already said it earlier, but second thing to say.
Nah, that's it. That's it. I got it.
We out. Well, guys, until next time, y'all have a great rest of your day. Come back, like and subscribe, join the Discord, do all those great things, and we'll be back next week. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.